Okay. So, begin class today. We're going to just start out in child's pose. If child's pose is not relaxing to you, you can always sit up in an easy seat on a cushion. Otherwise, we're going to take the knees as wide as our yoga mat and the toes together. And we're going to inhale, just begin by pulling the hands up and overhead. Exhale here. And one more inhale. And exhale, we'll climb our way down to the mat. Forehead touches the mat, hands stretching towards the top of the mat. And rock a bit back and forth on the forehead here. This can be a nice massage for the sinuses. If this is too tight in the knees, you can always put a little pillow between, right behind the backs of your knees so it's not such a tight bend. So we're just going to take a moment here to listen to our breath and do a quick body scan, seeing if we're holding tension or tightness in any specific area today. Noticing what our energy level is like. Noticing what our mood is like. Taking a few moments here to be an observer. Try not to attach any things like good or bad to what you notice here. Just accept it if you're feeling tired. Accept it if you're feeling stiff. Accept it if your breath feels kind of shallow today, and vice versa. If you're feeling amazing, accept that too. You might feel a nice opening in the shoulders begin to happen here. If you haven't already, stop rocking back and forth from the forehead and just find stillness here. And we're going to exhale all the breath out here. Hold all the breath out of the body for a moment. And then we're going to inhale together. Take the deepest breath in you've taken all day. Feel it stretching the skin of your back as you fill it with air. Holding it at the top for a couple moments. And exhale. As easily as it came, release it. And just do a couple more breaths like that, holding or retaining the breath at the bottom and the top of the exhale and inhale. Just take a couple breaths like that at your own pace. And as you're breathing, feel the weight of your body sinking into the mat. Maybe the stretch feels like too much in your low back this morning and you pull the knees in together here and just come back to the child's pose. Feel your belly filling up with air. As you exhale, imagine releasing tension from the areas you identified it in earlier in your body. Imagine the mat rising up to support you. As you're here in child's pose, we're going to take one final breath here and just choose an intention you want to carry with you through the rest of practice. It can be to practice self-compassion. It can be to practice patience. It can be to practice presence. But just choose something you want to focus on in today's practice that isn't physical. All right, wonderful. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then we're going to climb the fingers to the left side of the mat, or maybe off the left side of the mat, and sink the hips back towards the heels for a little side stretch in the right side. Take a deep breath here. And then we'll exhale, climb the hands to the other side of the mat, to the right side, stretching the left side of the body this time. And then hands come back to center. And we'll inhale, walk the hands back in towards the knees, slowly climb back up to a kneeling seat. We're going to come up onto the knees for a second here, tuck the toes, and then we're going to sit back on the heels with the toes tucked. This should be a pretty intense stretch in the bottom of your foot. We'll take a moment here, really pressing weight into your heels. If this is just way too uncomfortable, don't worry about it. We'll just take one more breath up, pull the hands up and overhead. And then as we exhale, we'll dive forward and come onto the hands and knees. Again, patting the knees is an option for all of class today. We'll take the hands directly below the shoulders and the knees directly below the hips. And then we'll begin with a little cat-cow here. So inhale, dropping the low belly, arching the spine, pressing into the heels of the hands, imagining that you're pulling your chest through your arms. Inhale here. Exhale, the motion begins in the tip of the base of your spine. Begin to curl your spine the other way, bending in and looking at your navel, pressing into the middle fingers on your mat, feeling in the shoulder blades spreading across your back. Inhale here. Exhale. And then we'll inhale, come back into cow pose, arching your back, dropping your belly as if there's a sandbag on your low back. Pressing into the heels, maybe coming a little farther forward on the knees than you normally do here. Inhale, just experimenting. And exhale, back to cat pose. And then take 3 more at your own pace. Inhaling, coming into cow. Exhaling to cat. And try to focus on all the little micro movements that are happening in your spine here and in your hands. Focus on syncing up breath to movement. And then on your third round of this, begin to take the spine in a bit of a circle. So, if that's confusing, as you're in cow pose, imagine you're dragging a string that's tied around your back and dangling onto the mat. Imagine you're dragging that string from the left side of the mat to the right side of the mat. Inhaling to come up through cat pose, and then drag the string back across the mat in the other direction and arc the spine. So you're continuing with cat-cow, but you're just moving your belly from side to side across the mat as you sync it up with breath. Please ignore meatball scampering around the house. And then we'll switch directions, just really waking up the spine, taking time to notice where all the little creaks and crannies are today. If there's a spot where you really notice you're stuck, maybe stay there and send extra breath to that area. We'll take one more round, and then we'll stop. We're going to do a little shoulder stretch here. So walk the right hand into the center of the mat. Spread the fingertips wide so you can see big triangles of space between each finger. And we're going to inhale as if we're drawing an arrow back on a bow. We'll pull the left hand up towards the sky. Feel free to adjust here. And open that left palm out towards the left side of the room. We'll do a circle here in either direction, just saying hello to that shoulder joint, counterclockwise and clockwise. And then we'll inhale, open the heart to the left side of the room. Exhale, thread the needle pose. We're going to pull this left hand through this hole we've created between the right arm and the rest of the body. We'll take the back of the hand on the ground, the back of the left hand, and slide it towards the right side of the room. And then we're going to lay the left shoulder on the ground, press into the right palm, and maybe even lay the back of the head on the ground looking up. Take a deep breath here. You should feel this in your shoulder. There's always an option to extend the right hand forward towards the top of the mat if you feel really stable here. Take one more breath here. And exhale, we will slowly, like everything is in slow motion while you're warming up here, come back up through center, open that left hand out towards the left side of the room again, stretch the fingers wide, and exhale, replace the right hand with the left hand on the ground. Left palm in the center of the mat. We're going to inhale, bring that bowstring up with the right hand this time, open the heart towards the right side of the room, stretching, wiggle the right fingertips. Inhale, begin to have your circle, drawing a big circle with the right hand clockwise and counterclockwise, really trying to keep equal weight in the left knee here. And then we're going to exhale, thread the needle pose, take the back of the right hand on the ground towards the left side of the room until you can lay the back of your right shoulder on the ground. We'll press into the left palm and look up towards the ceiling here. Again, trying to keep equal weight in both knees here. Trying to keep the hips centered over both knees. We'll take a deep breath here. Release through the mouth. One more like that. Inhale in. Exhale, release through the mouth. We'll come back up through center. Inhale, open that right hand up towards the sky. We'll come back to our hands and knees. We're going to take the right leg out behind us, staying balanced in both hands. We're going to flex the right toes with the right leg out straight behind us. We're going to rotate the ankle in a couple directions either way. And then we're going to bend the right knee and begin to draw wide circles, just like we did with the hand, with the right knee. Again, patting the knee is always an option. If your wrists get tired, you can come onto your fists, or you can do this on your elbows too. Maybe you want to try the elbows thing out just for fun. It's everything we're doing here, but with the elbows right below the shoulders instead of the hands. You just continuing with your circles in the right knee. Reverse those circles. Good for the low back, good for the hip joints. And then we will step the right foot up towards the top of the mat. Maybe walk the left knee back a bit. This is a great place if you're really stiff in your left hip flexor to have little blocks on either side of the right foot. You'll just make sure that the front knee is directly over or behind the front ankle. You can either have the back toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels better for you. And then on an inhale, we're just going to slowly try to climb up. Bring the hands up overhead as if we're holding a bowling ball over our heads, so really strong arms. Inhale here. Exhale, fingertips on the ground on either side of the right foot. Rock a bit from side to side here. Feeling yourself beginning to open through the right hamstring and the left hip flexor. Maybe you take both of the hands on the inside of the right foot, and then you begin to heel toe that right foot towards the right corner of the mat. And just breathe in here. Variation of lizard pose. And then maybe you heel toe that foot back towards the center of the mat. We're going to try a little twist here. So you'll press into the left palm. And we're going to inhale with the bow string. We're going to pull the right hand up towards the sky, Turn the chest towards the inside of the right knee. Inhale here. Exhale, release. We're going to walk the hands back on either side of the right leg until our hip is directly over our left knee. We're going to flex the right toes. This should be a very intense hamstring stretch here. Please feel free to keep the right knee bent as long as you can keep the back straight here. And we'll rock a bit side to side on the right heel, opening through that hamstring. Again, great place to have blocks on either side. Great. Then we're almost done with being on the knee on this side. We'll take one more breath in here and exhale, bend that chest just a little more over that right leg. Imagine really pulling that right hip crease back in space so the hips are square. Then we'll take both hands on the inside of the right foot. And we're going to walk the hands, do a little around the world. We're going to walk the hands towards the center of the mat. You can feel free to look at me here. We're going to take the right foot. We're going to swivel the right toes so that they're parallel. The edge of the right foot is parallel with the top edge of the mat. And then we're going to pivot on the left knee so that the left calf is parallel with the back edge of the mat. So we're coming into this triangle here. Then we're going to come onto the left palm. We're going to place the left palm just behind the left knee. And we're going to inhale, open the right arm up towards the sky. And we're going to exhale, take that right palm and extend it towards the front of the room, pressing into the left palm here. Imagine you're opening the heart here. So what I mean by that is pulling that right hand back in space to really open up through the right armpit, pressing into the right foot here. Inhale, opening the chest. And then we'll exhale, take the hands back to center. Last move we're going to do on the knees on this side. We're going to press into the left hand, and we're going to kind of combine two moves we just did here. We'll inhale, bowstring, pulling the air back in the bowstring. We'll open the right hand up towards the sky so that the heart is shining towards the right foot. Inhale here. And then we're going to exhale and do a thread the needle kind of combination pose here. So we're going to exhale, take the right hand, back of the right hand on the mat, thread the needle. So pull that right hand through this hole you've created. And we're going to come, don't be surprised if you're way less flexible feeling here. And we're going to come back. So pull the hips back towards the heel. Do your best to lay that shoulder on the ground. Just notice where you feel the stretch most here, because this is one of those stretches where there's like 500 muscles being stretched at the same time. So just feel this here for a moment. Then we'll inhale, come up. Take the hands back up to the top of the mat. We'll pull that right knee back to meet the left. Shake out that left leg. Bring both knees to center. And exhale, take a little child's pose here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come back to hands and knees. And we're just going to take that on the other side. So we're going to take the left foot out behind us, flex the left toes. We'll do a couple circles with the left ankle, feeling how the left foot feels today. Reverse the circles. And then we're going to bend the left knee, keeping a 90-degree angle there. And then we're going to inhale, begin to drop clockwise circles. This is actually counterclockwise. Counterclockwise circles with the right knee, or the left knee. Keeping equal weight in both of the hands here. Keeping the left foot flexed. And then we'll reverse the circles, just warming up through the low back, warming up through the left hip. We're going to inhale, step the left foot up towards the front of the mat. It's okay if you have to use your hand to pull your foot up there. Once you get your front knee directly over your front ankle, you can choose to tuck the back toes or leave them untucked. Just personal preference there. And then we're going to inhale, find some balance. Imagine that we're pulling the left toes back on the mat and that we're pulling the right knee forward on the mat, but nothing actually moves. You're just trying to create engagement in the inner thighs here, like scissors. And we're going to inhale, pull the hands up towards the sky. Imagine you're holding the bowling ball over your head and you don't want to drop it. And we'll exhale, release the hands. We're going to take a thumbs up sign or a hitchhiking sign. We're going to take this thumb, place it on top, right in this crease here, and imagine pulling the hips back, pulling the left hip back here. We'll inhale and exhale, hands come to the mat. Maybe you take both of the hands on the inside of the left foot, heel toe that left foot off the edge of the left side of the mat. Press into the right palm and inhale, pull the left fingertips up towards the sky, twisting towards the left knee. Again, if any of these feel like this, where here this is topping out at the twist for you, that's totally fine. As long as you feel a twist, it's working. Then we'll come back through center, take the hands on either side of the foot once again, and we will walk the hands back in space, slowly straightening the left leg as we go. Again, by straighten, I mean feel a stretch in your hamstring. Inhale, look forward here. Exhale, again, imagining that you're pulling that left hip crease back in space so that your hips are nice and square. Again, imagining melting your heart over the left leg. Rock back and forth a bit here. You can flex the left toes and move the toes from side to side. Inhale and exhale. Then we're going to just do that little move once again. We're going to come back through our lunge. And I think I'm going to switch sides of my mat so you can continue to see what I'm doing with my arms. But so we're going to move through your lunge. You're going to take your hands into the center of your mat, just like we did before. And then we're going to straighten the left foot, straighten the left leg, make the knife edge of the left foot parallel with the back edge of the mat this time, the front edge of the mat. We're going to pivot on the right knee so that the calf is straight out behind. And then we're going to walk the right hand, allow it to fall just ahead of the right knee. We'll inhale, bowstring, super graceful ballet move here, maybe. Pull that left hand up towards the sky. Feel the stretch in your inner thighs. Exhale to make this a side stretch too, if it isn't already. Allow the left palm to melt towards the ground. Inhale here. Pull that left hand back towards the back of the room or the front of the room. And feel that left armpit chest open up. Take a deep breath in here. And exhale. Slowly the hand comes back down. We take the hands back in center for our move here. A little thread the knee, a little combo move here. If that totally just did not work for you, sorry, keep on bleeding hair off the ground. If that totally didn't work for you last time, feel free to just take normal thread the needle pose, or even just with the legs like this, just sit back on your right heel. These are both great options. So I'll take you through thread the needle. So you inhale, pull the left hand up towards the sky, pressing into the right palm. Inhale here. And exhale, we'll thread the needle. So left back of the hand on the ground, moves towards the right side of the room. Press into the right palm, melt the hips back. I'm so stiff that I'm not even getting my shoulder on the ground here. So Do not sweat it if you are not there either today. Then look up towards the sky. Press into the back of the left hand. Inhale and exhale. Come through center. Come back up through the front of your mat. And then take both knees back. We'll just go ahead and shake the right leg a bit. And then we'll come back into a child's pose. You have been wearing socks this whole time. If you like to warm up with socks in the morning like I do, remove them now. This is a great time to take off any sweaters if you're feeling warmed up. Because now we're going to do a similar flow to what we just did, but activating the muscles more. So, come up through our tabletop pose. Walk the hands a handprint forward on the mat. Curl the toes under. We're going to begin in plank. So, come into your plank. Do any adjustments you need to do. We're just going to hold the plank for a count of 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull the tailbone as high up as you can. Come into your down dog here with super bent knees. Hold this for 5, 4. Connect to your breath. 3, 2, 1. Come back into plank. We'll hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, come into down dog. Hold this for count of 5. And what I mean by hold is if you come onto your knees halfway through plank, but you're still feeling it and you're doing it right. From down dog, come back to plank for the final time. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, come up to down dog. This time begin to pedal your down dog out. So really bending through the right knee and straightening, and bending through the left knee and straightening. Feeling the stretch up and down your calves. Press into the thumb and forefinger, the fleshy part of the hand between those two digits. Press into that. Elbow creases are shining towards the front of the room. Shake the head, yes and no. Inhale here. Bend both knees and allow the hips to fall towards the right. Come through center with the knees bent and allow the hips to fall towards the left. Come through center. We're going to take one more breath in here. One breath out. You can also always come onto the elbows here, make this dolphin instead of down dog. It is the same muscles. Maybe it's even harder if this is hurting worse. So we're going to inhale, take the right foot up behind us, pull, kick up through the right heel, flex and point the right toes. We're going to inhale and draw some circles clockwise with the right hip. And reverse the circles, take some circles counterclockwise with the hip. We'll take the foot right out behind us and look forward towards the front of our mat. We'll come back into plank. Roll the right knee in towards the chest and hold this for 3, 2, 1. And then we'll step the right foot up towards the top of the mat. Come into our high lunge here. Finding your grounding, finding a gaze point to look at instead of yourself. And inhale, fluttering the hands up and off the ground. Amazing. We'll do that a few more times. So if that was not like the round for you, many other opportunities. Making sure that the front knee is over or behind the front ankle. If you fall, that's okay. We are all in privacy of our own homes somewhat. So we're going to inhale, pull the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, relax through the shoulders. Just holding this here, allowing heat to build in the left glute. Imagine taking the right thumb, that hitchhiker thumb, and pulling the right hip crease back. We'll just hold this for 3, 2, 1. Look ahead of the front edge of your mat, and we're going to step in one big step, the left foot up to meet the right foot. Shift the weight into your heel so you can flutter the toes off the ground. Bend the knees. Then we'll sit back in chair pose. I'm going to just shift my screen a little bit while you hold chair pose. So sit in this chair pose, making sure the knees are behind or like directly above the ankles so you can see the toes. Holding this feeling, keep building. We'll inhale, come up. Stretch the hands up towards the sky. We'll exhale, dive down. Lay the belly on top of the thighs, bend the knees. Shift the weight into the toes this time. Cross the hands and the elbows and shake the head yes and no here. Decompressing. Inhale. Take the hands on top of the thighs. Straighten the arms, straighten the back, look straight down. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to step the left toes back with the knee off the ground. We're going to put weight into the left hand. And we're going to inhale. Repeat that twist we did earlier. Twist the chest towards the inside of the right knee. Open the right hand overhead. Ball is talking. And then we'll come back to center. Step the right foot back. Coming through a plank. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we'll slowly lower our belly onto the ground as slow as you can, pulling the elbows into the rib cage until you lay your belly on the ground. Shift the hips back and forth a bit. We'll inhale. Take the hands out in front of us. Exhale here. And on the next inhale, we're going to take the legs off the ground and the hands off the ground. Locust pose, Superman, whatever you want to call it. Pull the heels up towards the sky. Pull the backs and hands up towards the sky until you feel your back body engage. We'll hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the body on the earth once again. We'll take the hands beneath the shoulders. Remembering to breathe through all of this. We're going to press the hands into the earth and peel the heart off the ground with the elbows still very bent in and squeezing in towards the sides of the rib cage. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, forehead kisses the ground. Come back to child's pose. Maybe from child's pose, we come up to down dog. And then we're going to take the left foot out behind us. Point and flex the left toes. And then we're going to begin drawing circles with the left knee. Clockwise. And reversing them to counterclockwise. Breathing. Trying to inhale when your knee is at the top of the circle and exhale as the knee descends. Then we'll look towards the front of the mat. Come into a plank with that left foot raised. And exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Try to hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Squeeze the knee into the chest. 1. Step the left foot up at the top of the mat. And then we'll inhale, come up into our high lunge. Pressing into the ball of the right foot, imagining that right heel really drawing back in space. Inhale, relax the shoulders away from the ears. It's really easy to crunch the shoulders up towards the ears when your body's under stress. But just tell yourself you're relaxed. We'll take a deep breath in here together, and you're all muted, so don't be afraid to be loud. We'll exhale with an audible sigh. Just a few more moments here, building heat. You can clasp the hands Charlie's Angel style, steeple grip, and just do a little mini side bend to the right and to the left to distract yourself here from what might be a burning sensation in your glutes. And then we're going to come back to chair pose. So prepare yourself to step off of that right foot and step off of it. Come into your chair pose at the top of the mat. Pull the toes off the ground. Look at them, wiggle them. Weight in the back of the heels. And sit deep in the chair, pulling the hands overhead. Really pull those thumbs up towards the back wall behind you. We'll inhale here and exhale. If you want to try an extra challenge or, just distract yourself from holding chair, you can try pulling your right foot off the ground and extending the foot towards the front of the room for just a second, holding it off the ground by like an inch, and then replace the foot and try lifting the left foot off the ground while holding your chair. Just a fun little challenge. Don't lose the arms. And then we'll inhale, come up, stretch the hands overhead, exhale. Belly comes onto the top of the thighs, we decompress. Breathe in, exhale. We'll take the hands to the tops of the thighs, straighten the arms, straighten the back, look at the earth. Inhale and exhale. We're going to go ahead and step the right toes back to the back of the mat. We'll plant the right hand on the earth and inhale. Come into a twist, drawing the left hand up towards the sky, twisting the chest towards the inside of the left knee. Inhale here. And we'll exhale, take the hand to the earth, step the left foot back, come through a plank, and then try to lower to the ground to count of 5. So slowly begin your descent. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Belly comes to the earth, hands come in front of us. We relax here, and then we inhale, pull the front and back of the body off the ground by the arms and the legs. Inhale, pull the backs of the hands higher, pull the heels higher. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, everything comes to the earth. We'll take the hands, place them below the shoulders, and then we'll inhale, press into the palms, come up a little higher into our foot this time. Pull the elbows into the body so they're not flaring out. Pull the shoulder blades together and down the back. Inhale here, pressing into the pelvic bone. Exhale, come to the earth. Visit a child's pose briefly. I just want to remind you that if at any point during practice today, you need to take a quick child's pose or a long child's pose, that is just as important as pushing yourself to the limits of athleticism. In yoga, just being able to listen to your body and respect your own needs is ultimately the goal. That being said, if you're ready, we're going to come back into our down dog. In this round, we're going to speed things up a bit. So inhale, right foot comes up towards the sky. Circle in either direction of the hip. Come through your plank with the right foot lifted. Pull the right knee into the chest. And then we'll place the right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, come into our high lunge. Exhale, take the hands to prayer at the chest. We're going to inhale, step off that left foot, come into our chair pose. Pull the hands up over the head again. Hold chair pose. We're going to skip our forward fold this time, bring the hands back into the chest and step directly from chair back into our high lunge. And then we're going to do that one more time, looking towards the front of the mat. We're going to step off the left toes, come into our chair, hold chair. Chair is really good for your core as well as everything else in your lower half. We're going to try that little balancing thing once again, maybe peeling the right heel off the ground and extending the foot for a breath. And replacing the right foot and maybe trying to balance on the right leg, extending the left foot out for a breath. Then we're going to step the left toes back once again. Inhale here. This is where we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to drop. I'm going to move my camera screen so you can see. We're going to pivot that left heel so that it's on the ground, just like earlier when we were on our knee and foot. We're going to make sure the left knife edge, the left foot, the knife edge of the foot is parallel with the back of the mat. The front toes are pointing forward. The knee is behind, the front knee is behind the right ankle. We'll inhale, stretch the hands out to either side, warrior two. Really trying to make sure that we are centered over those legs. Inhale, warrior two. And then we'll exhale, imagine cartwheeling the hands down. Step the right toes back. Lower through plank to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hands out in front of us, legs out behind us. Superman and locust pose. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release to the ground. Take a moment here to check in with your heartbeat, check in with your breath. Remember your intention you said at the beginning of class and try to do this last round we're about to begin with a little extra intention. So, come back into your down dog. Take the left toes out behind you. And we're going to draw a circle with the left knee in either direction. Extend the right foot out behind us and look towards the front of the mat. Come through a plank with the left heel lifted. Pull the left knee into the chest. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step the left toes to the top of the mat. Inhale, coming into your high lunge. Exhale, side out. Settle in. Take the hands to the chest in prayer. Step off the right toes. Come into chair. Hold this. Extending the hands overhead. Inhale. Exhale, hands come back to heart. Step back into our high lunge with the right foot. Inhale. And exhale, come back into chair. Try balancing on the left foot, extending the right foot out in front of us. You can take hands to hips here if you need to. Replace the right foot on the ground. Extend the left foot. You can always just hold chair a little deeper here. Replace both feet with the chair. Then we're going to step the right toes to the back of the mat once again. High lunge. We're going to take the right hand to the earth. Inhale, peel the left arm up towards the sky. Take a twist here. We'll come back into our high lunge. We're going to pivot on the right toes. Set the right heel on the ground, paralleling the right foot's knife edge with the back of the mat. Those are perpendicular. Inhale. Both arms open. Sink down in the hips. Hold this. Inhale. Exhale. And we're going to take the right hands, walk them down the back of the right leg. Inhale, the left hand comes up and over. Side stretch here. Exhale, come back to center. We're going to take both toes and turn them in. I'm going to, again, switch directions so you can see me a little better. So you're going to take wide-legged with both feet parallel with the edges of the mat. Inhale here, stretch the hands towards the sky. Exhale, come through forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold. The knees can be bent. Shake the head yes and no. We'll come back up through center. Turn both the toes out. We're going to come into a little plie squat. We're just going to visit here. We're not going to stay for that long. So imagining the knees going directly over the toes. Hands at heart center. We're just gonna hold this here. Ignore the fact that it looks like I'm sitting on top of a fire. Or pay attention to it. Holding this for 3, 2, 1. Come back up. Now, we're going to take warrior 2 on the opposite side. So, we'll turn the left toes in, parallel the left knife edge of the foot with the back of the mat or front of the mat. Pivot on the right heel so that the right toes are pointing directly perpendicular to the top or back edge of the mat. And then we'll come into a warrior 2 here. Inhale and exhale, climb the left hand down the left leg, side bend here. Amazing. Pause here and just have a moment of feeling graceful. Sink down into the hips. And then we're going to exhale, come forward, cartwheel to the front of the mat. Figure of speech cartwheel. And we're going to take the knees to the ground, swing the legs off the mat and in front of you. And we're going to just take the heels wide apart, flex the feet, inhale, arms up, and exhale, fingertips in front of you. Walk your chest forward a bit, keeping the back straight. Wide-legged forward fold. Rock side to side, sending weight to one seat bone and then to the other. And then find stillness. Allow your heart rate to return to normal. Allow your breath to become the focus again. It was lost along the way. Send a deep belly breath into your belly. And exhale. Send a deep belly breath into your belly as if you were wearing a corset and you're trying to break it with the sheer power of your breath. And exhale. Walk the hands back up. We're going to bend the right knee, kick the right sole, the right foot sole into the inner thigh of the left leg. We'll inhale, arms up. And exhale, we're just going to crawl the hands directly forward here. Take a breath here. And then we'll slowly crawl the hands to be on either side of the left foot. We'll pull that left hip back in space to sort of square the hips. Take a moment here, feeling this stretch. We'll extend the right foot again. Take the left foot into the right inner thigh this time. Walk the hands forward a bit. Notice that there's a difference in flexibility on this side. Stretching. Maybe you feel this in your lower back or your left hip like I do. Don't be afraid of moving here. Swing a bit from side to side. And we'll walk the hands on either side of the right foot. We'll pull that right hip back in space to square the hips up. And then bend over that right leg. Okay. We'll come onto the knees once again. And here is an option for a bit more of an advanced pose, just sleeping pigeon. If you have trouble on your knees, and I just say advanced because it is kind of hard on your joints. So if you have trouble on your knees and you're like, what we did on our knees earlier was enough for me, you can always take the reclining pigeon where you cross your right ankle, say over your left knee, come onto your back, pull the right hand through the hole you've created, and then pull the left knee in towards the chest. But if you want to do sleeping pigeon with me, we're going to come into our low lunge, step the right foot to the top of the mat with hands on either side of the mat like rails of a surfboard. We're going to heel toe the right foot across the mat towards the left until we can gradually just lay that right knee on the earth. Imagine squaring the hips. This is a great place, and I wish I had a pillow to show you, to just put a pillow beneath this left hip flexor so you can keep the hips level. We're gonna inhale, look in front of us. Flex this right foot. Flex it flex it as much as you can, basically. And then maybe you pull that left knee back just a bit in space. There's some old yoga lore about trying to keep the right shin parallel with the front of the mat, but that is forcing the mobility. If you don't just do that naturally, that's forcing mobility from your knee, not from your hip, and that's not good. So if you want a little bit more of a stretch, just pull your left knee back instead of pulling your front foot forward. Anyways, I will shut up now and take a deep breath in here. If you're finding this is too much on your knee, do not be afraid to just go to the reclining position I showed you before this. Breathe deeply into the hip. This is a really, really intense stretch for a lot of people. Sometimes it can bring up emotions, but we worked very hard today, so we're stretching really hard as well. If this is actually feeling kind of good, maybe you try coming on to the elbows. If it's feeling really hard to stay in here, just breathe. Make sure none of the pain is coming from your knee. Make sure it's stretchy, pain adjacent feelings and not actual pain coming from your joints. Soften through your belly here. Just let your belly go. Unbutton your mental jeans you're wearing right now. Deep breath. Whatever feelings come up, just notice them and let them go. We are watching a TV called Our Own Inner Body right now. You can't change the channel. 3 more breaths here at your own pace. We're going to press into the hands. Do not put any weight, if you're coming out of this with me, do not put any weight in the right foot or the right knee. We're going to come on to the left knee and the hands and do a circle in either direction with the right knee. Maybe you get a couple pops out of your hip like I did. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Check in with yourself really quick. Ask, do I want to do this on my back or do I want to do this on my knee? We'll take the left foot out behind us. Step the left foot up through a low lunge. Take the hands on either side of the left foot. Then we're going to heel toe the left foot towards the right side of the mat until we can eventually just come forward a bit and lay the left calf onto the ground. Not the left shin, but the left calf, side of the calf, I guess. If you don't have a pillow, imagine you're sitting on one with the right hip flexor. And just take a moment here to remember the hitchhiker thumb pulling the hip creaser back in space. And do your best to imagine squaring the hips here. Flex through those left toes. Check in with yourself here and maybe you just come back an inch with that right knee on the ground. Tiny movement, but you should feel it in your hip if you do it. We'll inhale, open through the heart. And exhale, settle in. If this is way too intense for you, you can also always just pull that left hip or the left heel or whatever heel is in front of you. You can always just pull that in closer to the body to make the hip, to make the stretch a little less. Inhale here. Again, as you exhale, option to come onto the elbows. This is full sleeping pigeon pose. Well, technically full could be maybe you're putting your forehead on the ground, but you know, I'm not warmed up yet to do that. Stretchy flats. Don't feel pressured to go farther than actually feels good for you today. We're going to take 5 breaths here at our own pace. Try to meditate through this stretch, focusing on the breath, focusing on the heartbeat. Imagine feeling like the blood and the energy circulating through your own body. Feel where your weight is most distributed on the mat. Notice whatever feelings you're feeling. Sometimes people get a little teary-eyed and pigeon. Very normal. Go back to your intention for the beginning of class today. Then we're gonna slowly come back up onto the hands. Make sure all the weight's in the right knee, not the left. And like slow motion, take that left foot out behind us. We'll do a circle in either direction. I only offer this pose because I know all of you are very athletic and can manage your own bodies and if you're feeling good or not. Yeah, in that pose. And then we're gonna just come to lie on our back. Take out your ponytail if you've got one in. See how slowly you can lay onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest. Take a little moment to say a little, if you want to, say a little mental note of appreciation for yourself today. And then we'll let the left foot extend towards the front of the mat. Hold the right knee to the chest. Take the right knee in the right hand. Inhale. And exhale. Draw that right knee across the body towards the left side. Extend the right hand. Look towards the palm. Come into a supine twist here. Making sure both shoulder blades are on the ground. That's more important than both knees being on the ground. Inhale. Extending through the chest. Exhale, come back to center. Extend the opposite leg. Take supine twist in the opposite direction. Maybe get a little pop in the back. I don't know why that always feels like a reward, but it does for me. Breathe into your chest here. Breathe in your belly. And come back to center. And we're going to just take a short Shavasana here. So both feet, the backs of the hands, fall onto the ground, palms of the hands up towards the sky. If you take the shoulders off the ground for a second, relax them and lay them back down. Maybe you spread the lower back across the ground. Take your right hand, place it on your belly. Take your left hand, place it on your heart. And just take 5 conscious breaths here, like this at your own pace, to close the practice today. If you can, after practice, this is a great time to follow with like a 5-minute meditation. Soften the tongue and the mouth, soften the expression on the face, the jaw, back of the head and the shoulders. Soften the lips. We're going to inhale, slowly wiggling the fingers, stretch the hands overhead, point the toes, stretch the hands. And we'll exhale, lay it on one side. We'll be taking the fetal position to the left. We'll slowly press ourselves up to a seat. Take the hands behind you. Just take a moment here to come on to one side of the hip and give yourself a little mini massage of the hip on the earth. Be really testful. And then take it to the other side. Just imagining that we're massaging. Yeah, just massaging the hip on the earth first. Come into a comfortable seat. Give yourself a little hug here. Inhale and exhale. Blink the eyes open. Thank you for practicing with me today.